Good morning, everyone. It's right at the top of the hour. We'll just give it another minute or so for folks to join in here, and then we'll get started. I'm hoping everyone can see my screen with my picture there. We'll get going here in a minute. All right, we'll get started here. Good morning, everyone. This session is being recorded. So, and actually good afternoon to those of you that are joining us from Europe and around the world. This session is being recorded, so if you're unwilling or unable to be part of the recording, please drop off. We scheduled this webinar for an hour. That was the default setting, but we're probably going to go for about 25 to 30 minutes today. We plan to keep these to under 30 minutes or so going forward in the future. So just a little bit about me. My name is Ismail Nalwala, and I'm the CEO of IOTAP, based out of the DC metro area. I'm a Dynamics CRM nut or enthusiast, whatever you want to call it. My company, IOTAP, is a Microsoft Cloud Services partner, and Work365 is the application that we've developed on Dynamics CRM for cloud services companies like us that are in the business of selling and servicing customers with a recurring business model. We launched Work365 earlier this year in March, and we've been working with both direct and indirect partners who are looking for a way to manage and scale their business. So I can see from the registrations for this session that we have a good mix in the audience of existing users and some of you that are brand new to Work365. So I will cover content for both the audiences. And of course, if there's anything that needs more clarification, please go ahead and ask the question in the questions window. The agenda for today is to cover and talk a little bit about the Microsoft CSP announcements that have been going around for the last few months. We'll talk about some updates for the direct partners in terms of what's happening with the Partner Center. We'll cover some of the new features and functionality in the Work365 release and talk about when that's going to be available, some of the resources that we're putting together for you, and a discussion around some of the upcoming sessions we plan to have. All right. Now, there are thousands of Microsoft partners in the ecosystem, and we're all unique in some ways in terms of how we do things and what we do for our customers. I have shared this slide before, and I wanted to recap this slide once again to talk about the cloud journey and for all of us to get a sense of where we are and how we get to the next stage. Hopefully this slide gives you an idea of the overall landscape and the steps and the journey that we are likely to endure. So this graphic attempts to categorize partners and how we do things in one of these four stages. At the bottom of the pyramid is the build stage, which is the foundational stage in the beginning of the journey. And it turns out that 60% of the partners are actually in this stage, where they have 1 to 3 cloud solutions. They have certain manual processes around provisioning and billing, bundling, IP, cross-selling, and sometimes even stickiness with the customer is a little bit low. Then there is the breadth stage partners that start to do some more cross-selling, have some level of automation, and provide between 4 and 10 cloud solutions. Apparently 30% of the partners are in this stage. These partners have a low cost of customer acquisition, and customer retention is generally higher. Customers, however, still find it easy to switch partners, and the churn rate in this strata is about 15%. They're focused on customer expansion, the land and grab strategy where cross-selling becomes part of their goal and approach, right? Then comes the depth stage partners, and these partners generally have about 10 or more cloud services. They're using IaaS in their portfolio of services. 9% of the partners are in this stage where they've developed their own solution offerings focused specifically on a vertical market and start to stand out and differentiate themselves using digital strategies. And then finally, the scale partners. This is only 1% of the entire partner ecosystem typically. These partners have fully automated processes, and automation is core to what they do around change management, invoicing, customer service, and provide self-service to their end customers. Just one moment. I'm going to take a pause here for a second. I am so sorry about that. It turns out that my screen was not visible. I got some, thank you for those who prompted me on this. I'm hoping you can now see my screen. Can I just get a chat confirmation, please? I had started talking but forgot to share my screen. Are you able to see my screen now? Okay, I'm going to resume here. Technical difficulties, I guess. In my eagerness to start talking, I forgot to share my screen. We'll recap this. We talked about the build stage partners, the breadth stage partners, and starting to talk about the scale partners, right? So as I was saying, these partners have basically embraced digital transformation. They sell 10 plus cloud offerings. Customer experience is essential for scale to these partners, and they use an omni-channel approach to delivering customer experience, which means they can do email, chat, portals, and phone-based customer intake. They know the lifetime value of their customers and focus primarily on acquiring customers because their cost of service and processes are very well defined. The idea is that cloud service is about scale, and we're all navigating this journey to get to scale. Usually, the more time we spend fine-tuning our processes and services and invest in these tools, we're more likely to get to that scale stage. Now, we're a Dynamics CRM or Dynamics 365 user, and I've been working through these processes and changes constantly since 2011, actually. I would say we spent a good half of 2016 and all of 2017 building out our technology tools and processes during that time. All right, moving on. So now that we've talked a little bit about that cloud journey, let's talk a little bit about how this relates to the new CSP announced that Microsoft has made about the CSP program. I talk to partners every day and work with a good mix of both direct and indirect partners. These changes here on the slide relate specifically to direct partners and their future relationship with Microsoft. If you relate back to the scale partner definition or characteristics we looked at in the previous slide, Microsoft is basically using those exact same principles to determine who they want to work with as a direct partner. They're requiring that direct partners have automation and billing infrastructure in place to manage the whole subscription and billing lifecycle automatically. They want partners to demonstrate that they have developed IP and have their own solutions that they're promoting in their marketplace. They've made it a mandate now that partners have one or the other premium support plans in place, which is a service that has to be purchased directly from Microsoft. And finally, they're talking about performance as well. There is no fixed number or details, but there is talk about something around a six-figure revenue number that Microsoft may start tracking. What that exactly is, I don't know. So they announced these changes to the direct partner program to be effect on August 31st. And they're calling the direct partners, the one-tier partners, direct billers. If you notice that billing is now in the name of the relationship to emphasize how important that function is to the cloud services business. So if your renewal date or the date you signed up with the CSP in the CSP program is before August 31st, you will have to implement these changes by August 31st. If your date is after August 31st, you will have to implement these changes by your anniversary date. There are Yammer groups out there where partners are expressing some of their emotions on these changes, and it is going to be disruptive for a lot of us. if you don't meet these requirements, I understand that partners will have to essentially re-enroll in the CSP program and kick off the process from start to then demonstrate the qualification. All right, so now that we've looked at some of the announcements in the CSP program, and before we move on to the application, let's talk a little bit about one very important aspect, right? Everyone on this call is a Microsoft partner. You either have some silver or gold competencies, or you're working your way there. I talk about this slide in relationship every day with partners, actually. So bear with me today again as I do it one more time. So as a Microsoft partner, we have things we get, right? The pros, that's what this is, which is the sort of benefits of the relationship. We get the ability to sell these products, which is great because they're some of the best products out there. We get access to marketing content to generate leads. We get incentives, rebates, margins, and finally, very important, we get IURs for their products. And then on the cost side, we have the annual program fees, which we pay every year. You attend events like Inspire and pay for all your logistics and travel. You have to pay for certain premium sites for learning. Then there are training and certification costs. You may be part of other organizations, where you have to pay membership dues. And finally, the time you invest in the relationship, attending monthly, bi-weekly calls, consuming all the various emails, and messaging and business process changes, right, around the relationship. I guess what I'm trying to say is that as a partner, we have hard costs that we invest in the relationship. Anytime there is a direct cost, Microsoft makes us pay for it, which is fine because they really have thousands of partners enrolled in the program and they can't foot the bill for all of us. And now direct partners will have this additional cost if they haven't already purchased one of the paid support options. Microsoft has been great at finding ways to generate more revenue. If you remember, they made a change earlier this year called the billing period alignment, where they took away any free days. We were getting a month of free usage in some cases, and now that's gone. The disties also did the same thing. They aligned their billing, and that's potentially 8% more revenue for cloud services, for Microsoft cloud services. And now again, they will be using advanced support and premier support to drive more revenue for them. Now, don't get me wrong, we love Microsoft and its products, but if you think a little deeply about the left and the right side, you will see that as partners, we pay for every single thing that's a hard cost, and everything we get is really to drive more sales for Microsoft. Even the IURs, they want us to use the apps and services so we understand them and leverage them. And because these are software products, they cost Microsoft practically close to nothing, right? As they make them available to us. So what can we do as partners? In my opinion, one of the things that's very important is leverage all these IURs and lower our costs as much as possible. All right. So we talked about the program announcements for the one-tier CSPs. I'll talk a little bit about the technology announcements as well. We recently returned from a trip to Seattle where we met with the Partner Center developers, talking to us about the roadmap on what to expect as a one-tier CSP and the technology changes that are coming through in the near term and through FY19. The Partner Center is how Microsoft will drive engagement with partners that work directly with Microsoft. So these updates apply specifically to the one-tier partners or folks like us that are building integration with the Partner Center. Microsoft is working to simplify the partner and customer experience for the CSP program. So we talked about the upcoming changes in the program, and here I want to talk a little bit about the changes to the Partner Center that are aimed at achieving these goals. So for starters, CSP partners with presence in multiple regions often face challenges with multiple tenants, authorization, and a strong tie into the CSP tenant for accounting purposes. This is set to change with the global authorization, which will allow selected partners to operate in multiple regions around the world under a single authorization and a single CSP tenant. Of course, this will mean a lot of changes for the partners as they make these adjustments. Another change is the availability of price lists via an API and the consolidation of the product catalog. As of today, price lists are available as an Excel spreadsheet download, and partners are not able to use this automatically to update their system. So we will, of course, incorporate a lot of these changes for direct partners in the Work 365 app. Furthermore, these price lists differ based on different markets, SKUs, and availability. With the new price list catalog, partners will get information that is relevant for them under a single catalog, either through the Partner Center UI or through the API call. Some of the other changes coming to the CSP program are around maintaining customer discounts across multiple channels, ability for partners to transact in the customer's currency, and the ability to adjust your billing date. This will be a one-time allowance, and some additional criteria potentially will also apply. So we've discussed changes to the partner experience, but there are also upcoming changes to the customer experience. For instance, customers will be able to establish granular relationships with their CSP providers instead of a blanket authorization. Delegation administration permission will also become more granular, and it is expected to have workload-based permissions coming soon. Finally, there are some improvements also to the customer analytics to tie it all together. All right. So for the benefit of the new partners on this call, I want to briefly talk about what is Work 365. So in addition to being a cloud service provider, we've had an ISV business selling Dynamics apps and add-ons since 2013 under the Work 365 brand. Those applications like Record Clone, Report Scheduler, and Email to Case are still available and are called out by their specific names. However, Work 365 is the suite of applications to help partners run a successful CSP practice and business on Dynamics 365. When we started our journey and started to evaluate systems to allow us, to scale the CSP business as we transitioned customers from the advisor model to the CSP model, we looked at about 6 or 7 systems over the course of 6 to 8 months. They were SaaS applications. They provided some level of branding and customization. Some had ongoing fees with usage fees that were tied to the revenue. They charge us, anywhere from 2 to 7 points on sales and our revenue. We would have to maintain and administer yet another system, train our users and administrators. It would have taken us about 1 to 3 months to implement this change and transition, set up our products, and then the final major issue for us was that all the data would be in their system, and there was very little integration capabilities back to Dynamics CRM. So Work 365 is built entirely on Dynamics 365 sales and customer service applications, and includes 4 major solution components, right? Subscription management and invoicing, where you can create custom products and services. You can provide flexible terms like monthly, annual, and quarterly billing terms to your customers. You can track provisioning from any provider, including yourself, right? Generate invoices on a consistent and timely basis every single day in an automated way. Then there's the self-service piece. This is built using the Dynamics CRM portals, where your customers can manage their own subscriptions and request changes. These changes then automatically flow back to your system, CRM system, and get recorded as changes. Then there's the customer service piece, where we have email to case automation, where you can automatically assign cases and route them to the right text, track full email conversations against a case, and have history in CRM using the CRM capabilities. And finally, we have the e-commerce and payments solution. Our e-commerce platform integrates directly into Dynamics CRM again, further extending what a customer can do by not only managing their current set of subscriptions, but have the ability to shop around and purchase new subscriptions. It's got the capability for cross-selling and upselling built right into it. So if you're an indirect or direct partner, I believe Work 365 gives you peace of mind and helps you create those game-changing opportunities. I'm just summarizing here what we think are essential key differentiators. Work 365 is built on Dynamics 365, as you all know. You can leverage your IURs to lower your cost of service and take advantage of the stuff and the benefits that you get from Microsoft. You have complete control of your data, so regardless of which service provider or dist you use, It gives you the flexibility to make the best choices for your customers. Whether you buy from one distie or another, or directly from a vendor, your customers don't see a change in the interface they're using, and you don't have to use multiple systems, right? Our pricing is not based on the revenue you generate, because we believe that is actually wrong. Your revenue is your business, and whether you have $1,000 customer or $50,000 customer contract, it doesn't matter to us. All right, so now we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up in the June release. We have an update release coming up this month. It's going to be out on June 12th. And I wanted to briefly cover today some of the capabilities that we've built into this new release. We have capabilities around reporting, profitability metrics, invoicing enhancements. We've enhanced a dashboard. There's more visibility in the change logs, and the new release will be available on our Work 365 Yammer group. It'll be available as a download there, and we'll post some updates. So please make sure you're registered on the Yammer group to get access to these. All right, let's cover some of these in some more detail. So in this upcoming release, we've made enhancements and focused the changes on two core principles, right? Creating bundles and IP, and tracking profitability. These changes are optimized for CRM 9.0, and I will highlight on this graphic what you'll get to see here. So firstly, we've added the monthly unit cost into the general subscription details. Then the change management area is available right at the top. So if you're processing orders, you can update the quantity in the order information right up there. In the lower part of the screen, you will notice how the child and add-on subscriptions are also surfaced on the same form. This is extremely important for us to quickly visualize the product and service bundles. These child subscriptions and add-ons are not only important for us to be able to provide better service, but also to be able to calculate the profitability for the overall bundle or service. All right. And as I mentioned, the add-ons also surface right on the subscription form. Now, here's a summary of the changes that are coming through. One more thing I want to point out is that the change log has been enhanced to track the user that performed the changes, gives you better audit capabilities. And we added a very complex feature here where we are sorting the change log by the most recent changes. Sorry, that was obviously a simple change, but it makes a big difference and saves time in how we view and work with this changes on the subscription form. All right, now we talked about adding the cost fields in the subscription form. The next step for us obviously was to develop the profitability report, because the costs are there. This report is available in the new release. With the cost fields in there, you will now be able to generate your cloud profitability analysis by customer quite easily. It factors in the discount at the billing contract level and uses the cost and sales price to determine the profitability. We believe this is a core tenet of the application and our approach. We want to drive the discussion and conversation about cloud profitability every single day if we can. So this is the gross profit report by customer, which will now be available in the application. And we also have this new report that is available. It's a slightly different take, but serves an important function where you will quickly be able to tell what the profitability is for each of the products and services that you're selling. This report generates the gross profit by product or service that is set up in Work 365. We talked about scale partners having many cloud-based services and bundled product and IP. So the idea is this report will allow you to quickly gauge how well those products are doing for you across all your customers. All right. Next, we have enhanced the Work 365 dashboard. This dashboard is a consolidated view of both business insights and action items. The visuals provide graphical insights into your CSP operations, and all the text-based items are sort of the action-oriented tasks you can take on. The dashboard is available when you install Work 365, and this is actually the default dashboard I use now in our own production system. As you can see in the picture, you can visualize your top product sales, top customers. You can visualize quickly the changes in your subscriptions through the license change log in the first 3 charts. You can also see which change logs need provisioning or pending provisioning. This is particularly important for the indirect partners and for subscriptions that are manually provisioned, whether you're indirect or direct. Finally, as you all know, the invoicing process runs every day, and the process, well, you may not all know, but the invoicing process runs every day, it processes the change logs and subscriptions that you have in the system. This section here quickly gives you a way to know if you've missed anything from an invoicing standpoint, and typically it gets picked up through every invoicing cycle. So another feature we've added in this release is for direct partners, where they can quickly synchronize new tenants directly from the application. So any new customer tenant that is created from the Partner Center will automatically flow through to Work 365, and you don't have to do a manual mapping in Work 365. All right, so that covers all the changes and some of the CSP announcements and things like that. What I wanted to also talk about is some of the announcements for the Work 365 application. After Inspire, we plan to kick off a bi-weekly or a monthly training call that'll be open to all Work 365 users. These will be sort of 20-30 minute long, and we'll cover one or two topics, and sort of focus them around the usage scenario. Right, it could be around how your accounting team can use Work 365 to better manage their invoicing process, or how your customer service team can use the application to manage cases, self-service, or provisioning. The other thing I want to mention is that we're going to focus our sessions now for direct and indirect partners, and we'll try to schedule them where we're talking about specific topics that relate both to the partner to the different partner types. Also, we're working through some strategic partnerships, and we'll announce these potentially after Inspire. I think that covers all the announcements that I wanted to share today. And just some final remarks. Please join our Yammer group. I have listed it here. We're going to make this recording available there, and continue to have the conversations, and hopefully that becomes the go-to place for all of us that want to understand how to use Work 365 for the CSP business. We have made it very easy to set up, to get set up and get going. It takes about one phone call and maybe an hour-long discussion to get the application fully configured and get you trained up on it. Please email ready-to-go@work365apps to schedule your install. Some social media information for you to connect with us. And if you need to schedule a demo, one-on-one demo, I have a link up here, and again, this will be available. I'm also available, obviously, on email, so please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Inspire is around the corner, so if you're attending, please let us know. I look forward to meeting all our Work 365 users and talk more about CSP out there. I think that's all I have for today, and we'll open it up to questions. So, if you could paste your questions in the questions window, we'll take any questions that are open. I'll give it a few minutes. Please type your questions in the questions window, and I can see them, and we'll Oh, one more thing I want to mention really quick is we're going to be announcing a referral program for Work 365. So if you guys, if anybody on the call wants to learn a little bit more about that, please ping me, reach out to me. We can discuss that and share some more information with you. I think I have a few questions here. Just one moment. I'm gonna try to navigate here. Sorry, I can't. Okay. Are the training sessions already available? That's a great question. What we're going to do is we have been compiling a whole list of videos, and these will be made available next week as well. Expect to see them around Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. I'll post a link out to these videos on the Yammer group, and then once those videos are available, they should help you get onboarded, get started using the application for all the different areas. And then further down the road, we're going to actually have one-on-one, or sorry, actually group-based training sessions like these webinars to have a more open discussion. So there'll be training videos available, and then also training sessions. Thank you for that question. Anything else I can answer? Give it a minute here. I can't see. I believe there's another question out here. I'm trying to find it. Oh, okay. Great. I think the question is, can they be purchased? Can these components be purchased separately? Yes, absolutely. These components can be purchased separately. The 4 components of the application have their different apps or modules, and they can be purchased separately, licensed separately as well. Some are usage based in their pricing. Some are flat fee. So I can talk about that one-on-one if you have more specific questions. If you want to schedule a call, when we schedule a call. Anything else? Can't see the image. Okay, sorry, Brian. Okay. I think that's all the questions we have, guys. Thank you very much for your time. I will post this up, like I said, on the Yammer group in the next couple of days. Please don't hesitate to reach back out to me and talk to you soon. Thank you very much for your time.